So how's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are officially doing championship score predictions again. I'm really excited to be getting back into it. I think everyone has got one thing on their mind, which if you're from the UK, we are so proud to be English at the moment. Unbelievably sensible behaviour towards racist taunts that they got thrown at from Bulgaria supporters. They dealt with it tremendously. Since then, the Bulgaria coach just now has literally just apologised to the English squad, and no crap, he shouldn't. It was absolutely embarrassing for trying to hear and deny that there was any racism. But anyway, that's another video topic. But moving on to my championship score predictions. This is going to be match day 12. So after this game, we would have had the first quarter of the championship played, which is really interesting. This is how the table looks at the moment after 11 games played. Let's see how much that will change going into my next set of predictions. So we'll start off with Friday's game, Cardiff versus Sheffield Wednesday. Personally, I think it's a little bit mean for there to be a Friday game after being in international duty, but that's the way it's going to have to be for Cardiff and Sheffield Wednesday. Two teams I do expect to be quite high up there in the championship table. Cardiff have had a pretty good run of form recently, although they did just recently lose to West Brom. Since then, they were putting fantastic performances, for instance, against Queen's Park Rangers. Sheffield Wednesday are in an okay form themselves. In their last 5 games, they managed to collect 10 points as well, only losing once in their last 5 games. So Sheffield Wednesday are in a pretty good run of form at the moment. I remember the last game they played in Cardiff City Stadium. I remember Sheffield Wednesday away from home managed to go 1-0 up. It was completely against the run of play, but they managed to hold on until the 95th minute in the last kick of the game. Cardiff and Sol Bamba managed to equalise, which showed the resilience of a promotion-winning team. In predicting this game is rather interesting. In fact, in their last 6 meetings, Cardiff have not beaten Sheffield Wednesday, which really does surprise me. But having said that, I think Cardiff have been really strong. They've actually not lost a home game so far. So I'm going to predict a 1-1 draw between the two sides. I think it'll be very closely contested. I think Cardiff are going to really use their set-piece play. I think Sheffield Wednesday are going to really attack down the wings and probably try and create some open play chances. But I think they'll cancel each other out and get a 1-1 draw out. So now I get to the early Saturday kickoff, Blackburn versus Huddersfield. This game I am so intrigued to see the outcome of. Because, funny fact for you, Blackburn have never beaten Huddersfield in their last 6 games. But in all truthfulness, the last time Huddersfield beat Blackburn was in their promotion-winning season, and in that same season, Blackburn got relegated to League One. I think this will be really close. I think Blackburn at Ewood Park so far have looked pretty strong. They have dropped a few points, silly points from Ewood Park so far, but overall they've been pretty strong. Huddersfield, they're in a good run of form at the moment. They've won their last 2 games and have managed to keep 2 clean sheets in the process as well, which I think is more encouraging. I do think away to Blackburn is going to be a real tougher test for Huddersfield, but I'm going to throw a shock. I think Huddersfield will get a 2-1 away victory, and I'll tell you why. I think under the Cowley Brothers, I think Huddersfield are going to be in a good run of form. Now, it could be me being completely off my head, but I just have an instinct. When you're in a good run of form in the Championship, especially under new managers as well, teams tend to go on the rise. And I think at Ewood Park so far, Blackburn have been hit and miss. So I think there will be a miss, and I think Huddersfield will get a very invaluable 2-1 away victory. So now we get to the 3 o'clocks. Arguably, I think the toughest game to predict, Brentford versus Millwall. Now, Brentford are still trying to get used to Thomas Frank and to this new season. They've not really clicked into gear yet. Ollie Watkins being their brightest spark, scoring 7 goals for them so far. I'd really expect him to score more if Brentford need to get up higher in the table. Millwall, they've still got no manager. They're going to be under their assistant manager, which actually managed to beat Leeds. But I think away from home, it's going to be a lot tougher. Both of these teams are around based in London, so technically this is a miniature London derby between the two sides. I'm really starting to call this one because Brentford have not really convinced me, but Millwall, despite having a good performance against Leeds, I'm not sure what they're going to be like away. I'm going to predict the result that happened between the guys at Griffin Park last year, and that is a 2-0 home victory to Brentford. I think Brentford will hold their nerve in this game. I think deep down they should have started a lot sooner, and I think they will get themselves into gear in this game and win by 2-0. So now the game featuring polar ends of the table, Barnsley versus Swansea. Barnsley have actually never beaten Swansea either. The last time they played each other was actually in 2011 in the Championship. They've played other times in the FA Cup and League Cup, but I'm not going to count those. Now, we had another polar game, last game, involving Swansea against Stoke, and Swansea managed to lose against Stoke. But I do not think they're going to allow Barnsley to beat them, even though that I could see it happening, because Barnsley at home have actually looked okay in my opinion. But at the same time, Barnsley have never beaten Swansea, and I think with Swansea, they will take this game really, really seriously. I think they didn't really take the Stoke game all that seriously. Barnsley as well will be still looking for a new manager. They're going to use their assistant manager currently in charge at the moment, but they're still looking for a new manager. I think, however, Swansea will win by 3-1. I think Swansea will edge this game pretty comfortably. They'll put Barnsley under a lot of pressure, but I do think Barnsley will have the resilience to eventually score. But I think in the end, I think Swansea's high attacking play and their fast tempo will ultimately call Barnsley off guard. So I think it'll be a 3-1 away victory to Swansea. So now we get to Charlton versus Derby. Charlton seem to be the miracle workers at the moment. You know, they tend to get some really shock victories. They've already got really shocking victories. Their most recent one being against Leeds United. Derby, I still think, a bit similar to Brentford, still need to click into gear. They've not really started the season as I expected. But to encourage Derby, Derby have a fantastic record against Charlton. Out of their last 6 meetings, Derby have won 4 of them. Despite that, I think with Charlton, what I saw against Fulham was honestly inspiring. It was really, really encouraging to watch. It was like everyone giving 100%. The likes of Williams are still going to, and Lockie are going to have to recover. They've both been on recent international duty with Wales. But despite that, I think Charlton will win by 2-1. I think Derby's still needing time to try and recover. I think it will take this game, and then Derby will then all of a sudden realise, okay, we need to start playing now. And I think with Charlton, they've still got a lot of firepower within them. I think they do create a lot of chances. Don't know if Lyle Taylor is going to be back though. But at the same time, they still have many players that can step up. So I'm going to say a 2-1 home victory to Charlton. So next game, Hull versus Queen's Park Rangers. A very, very interesting game, I think. Because I think both teams don't necessarily play in a similar style, but they're in similar positions. Hull have been a little bit inconsistent. Queen's Park Rangers played some fantastic football along the way, but have lost twice in their last 5 games. So it's really, really hard to put your finger on who might be the better side going into this game. Hull at home have been okay, I think. They've just not been as clinical as they have been last year. The likes of Bowen have not been that clinical, although he has still been offering a lot of chances in games. Stewart and Grzycki, I think, have been the 2 standout players for Hull so far. With Queen's Park Rangers, they're still playing a lot with a lot of freedom. It's really entertaining to watch. I'm loving seeing Eze go forward. Hugo and Mackie Wells seems to be a really, really strong partnership. They're getting plenty of goals for Queen's Park Rangers. I have an instinct here, and I think Queen's Park Rangers are going to shock Hull. I think they'll get a 2-0 away victory. I think Hull in this game, at times they've started well, but most of the games they play at a really slow pace. I think with Queen's Park Rangers though, they can really centre that in teams. And for me, my instinct's telling me that Queen's Park Rangers will get a really convincing away victory. So I'm going to say a 2-0 away victory for Queen's Park Rangers in this game. So now to Leeds versus Birmingham. I mean, this will be really, really interesting to see. Birmingham have a fantastic record against Leeds as well, which will not go in good odds against Leeds. However, at Ellen Road, Leeds have looked okay. It's just, I can't put my finger on Leeds. At times, you know, they play some fantastic football, but they're just not clinical. It's actually frustrating. With Birmingham away from home, they picked up a few victories away from home, but they've not looked all that convincing in their away victories. I think Leeds tend to start well. I think with the break, Leeds tend to recharge their batteries and go again. But then it gets to 3 or 4 games in and then they start dropping below par again. So I do believe that Leeds will win. And I think it'll be a 1-0 home victory because I'm still not convinced that there'll be many goals coming out from this Leeds side. Despite playing some fantastic football along the way, they've just not got the clinical players for it. So I think Leeds will narrowly win, but by 1-0. So now we get to Luton Town versus Bristol City. This stat will blow your mind. Last 6 meetings, Bristol City have never beaten Luton Town. And in fact, cast your minds all the way back to 2005. Now I'm going to put a little bit of a quiz poll. Sometimes I do these quiz polls. One player scored a brace in a 5-0 home victory for Luton against Bristol City all the way back in 2005. If you've answered the poll, let me know what your answer is in the comments down below and I'll tell if you're right. Having said that, I'm going way against that form because that form happened nearly 15 years ago. This is now, and Luton at the moment have been quite inconsistent. Bristol City have got plenty of goals within them, and in fact, even though many of their players are injured, they still tend to put a really strong performance through, which goes to show their fantastic depth in their squad. I'm anticipating a load of goals in this game actually, and I'm going to say that Bristol City will win by 3-2. I believe that Bristol City are going to take this game seriously, knowing their record. I think Luton, there will be some positivity. I think some of their players will be recharged. The likes of James Collins, he'll be eager to score more goals. But I think with Bristol City, I think with the quality that they have, I think the likes of Fireman, it'll be too much for Luton, unfortunately, for them. So I think Bristol City are going to get a hard-fought 3-2 away victory. So now go to Middlesbrough versus West Brom. Now, shocker for you, Middlesbrough did the double over West Brom last year. It was 2 fantastic performances from Middlesbrough. I remember watching their last game at the Riverside against West Brom. Took their one practically big chance in the game and defended very well to keep the lead, but West Brom should have scored in that game. I can't believe they didn't at that time. This is a bit different now. Middlesbrough are not in as a strong place as they were by that time last year. They would have been in the promotion places, riding high with confidence. West Brom, however, they are in the promotion places themselves. They look like that they are unstoppable at the moment. I think West Brom play a very positive style of football. Middlesbrough are still trying to get used to their style of football. When it's worked, it's looked really, really entertaining, but you need the right players for it. If certain players can't pass very accurately, it's not going to look great and they're going to keep giving the ball away, which I could see happening quite a fair bit in this game. I don't see many goals in this game. I think both teams will be very compact defensively, but I think it'll be West Brom that get the win. So I think it'll be a 1-0 away victory to West Brom, where it'll probably be a penalty or it'll be some set piece, or could even be just a tiny little bit of individual skill from open play. But I think there'll be very little chances in this game. So I'm going to say a 1-0 away victory to West Brom. So now I have Reading versus Preston. In my opinion, Preston's toughest test yet. Now, that could be really, really silly for me, but Reading have got a new manager. Now, technically, he's worked with Reading. It's Mark Brown, the technical director. So he's basically hired himself as the manager. I mean, Reading fans, let me know what you think about that. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what I'd feel. I mean, as a Chelsea fan, would I be comfortable with Eugene Tenenbaum or Marina Gravasacchia being in charge of being the manager for Chelsea Football Club? I'd be a little bit nervous, I wouldn't lie to you. So Reading fans, let me know what you would think about this decision in the comments down below. But coming back to Reading versus Preston, Preston have a poor record against Reading. And for me, Preston are one of those teams that get better the more times they play. And I think the fact that some of their players have been on international duty. By the way, congratulations to Alan Brown making his first competitive start with Republic of Ireland, despite ending it in a sour defeat to Switzerland. It was good to see him make his first start for Republic of Ireland. Reading managed to do the double over Preston as well, which is really encouraging me to throw a shock result. I think under a new manager, even though he kind of works at Reading already, I think they'll play with a little bit more enthusiasm for a couple of games, and this is Reading what I'm talking about. I mean, Reading will play with a little bit more enthusiasm, and I think with Preston, they've got to really deal with it. If Preston can get a draw or even a win, I'd say Preston will be very, very strong favourites in trying to get into the playoffs. However, I don't see it. I think Reading will win by 2-1. Now, this is probably my biggest shock actually, along with Huddersfield beating Blackburn. But at the same time, I can realistically see this happening. When teams that play under a new manager, there's more enthusiasm, there's more desire in the game. So I think Reading will win by 2-1. The penultimate game this weekend is Stoke versus Fulham. Now, I would have expected this game being a Premier League fixture. The fact they're both competing in the Championship now is absolutely crazy. I think this is actually the first time when both of these teams have competed against each other in the Championship. Last time they played each other competitively was in the Premier League in 2014 when Fulham got relegated. Stoke got a very convincing 4-1 home victory. But who would have knew that 5 years later Stoke would be falling down to Fulham's position as well. I can see Stoke playing really well in this game. At home, I think Stoke have looked at their best. With Fulham, they've also looked really good. I think they potentially have two potential top goal scorers in Tom Kenny and Alexander Mitrovic in their squad. But they've also got Ivan Cavallero and Anthony Knockaert that can bang a couple in as well. I think this is going to be really close, but I think it'll be a very narrow 2-1 away victory to Fulham. I think just from their style and the fact that they play with a lot of tempo and energy and they've looked a little bit more clinical than Stoke at the moment, I'm only just going to edge them. So I think Fulham will get a 2-1 away victory against Stoke. And for the final game this weekend on Sunday, Wigan versus Nottingham Forest. This game I'm really looking forward to seeing live because I've not seen much of Nottingham Forest in this new 2019-2020 season. But so far, they are in the promotion places and I need to see why. But for what I've seen their highlights, they don't play the best type of football, but they play a type of football that works with them and that can achieve the club to grind out results. With Wigan, they've been on a topsy-turvy run of form. They sometimes get a win and then sometimes they get a loss. They managed to get Shea Dunkley as their player of the month, which fair play to him. I think he really deserved that. He really helped Wigan contribute to the goals, and including scoring a brace against Charlton as well. I can see this game not having many goals in it though. It could be a spectacle, but at the same time, I think Wigan will be very defensive, even at home, but will really use their set piece play to try and attack Forest. Forest, I think, will be very deep and then attack Wigan on the counter. And I think eventually one goal will come about, and I think it'll be Forest's. I think Forest will get a 1-0 away victory. I think Forest may not look at their best because obviously some have been on international duty. I mean, majority of these clubs are going to have many players on international duty. I think with Wigan, they'll be really closely contested in this game, which is why I'm only predicting a 1-0 loss. But at the same time, I don't think they're going to be clinical enough to compete. So I think Forest will win by 1-0. So there you have it on the screen right now are my predictions for the Championship Match Day 12. Do you agree with me? Let me know in the comments down below. Let me know what fixture you're looking forward to most in this weekend. If I had to say what fixture I'm looking forward to the most, I'd actually say that it would be the Luton and Bristol City game. Knowing that Luton smashed Bristol City 15 years ago, I'd be very interested to see how the times could potentially change in this game. So that might be the one game I'm really looking forward to the most. This is also the 40th video I've ever made on YouTube. It's crazy. I've already made 40 videos. As of those 40, 38 of them are still up. I've privated 2 of them. But this is officially my 40th video. And I've officially met my video count with my subscribers. I don't know how to feel about that. But at the same time, I'm happy I'm able to share a lot of content with you guys. Even though it may not be growing to an extent that I'm expecting it. I am happy releasing the content as it is and just seeing how it goes. And to the 40 of you that are subscribed, thank you so much for sticking with me. Not getting a lot of action in the videos, I won't lie to you, but at the same time, I am seeing a lot of you view the videos. But if you want to show to me that you really do care, please show your appreciation and give this video a like, a share, and a subscribe. All of that would be terrifically appreciated, genuinely. You'd be my best friends forever. But anyway, to wrap things up, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm happy Championship football is back. You guys are legendary if you saw the end of this video. And as always, take care.